I have the pleasure of serving as the president of the National Association of Women Business Owners, Dallas-Fort Worth chapter. We are a group of women business owners who come together to celebrate and empower each other. And we also advocate for the needs of women business owners. And when I'm not wearing that hat, I am the president of Cadence Studios, which is the event planner's best friend when it comes to AV services. I'm also a wife, a mother. I have a black belt in Taekwondo that I got in May. So if I can do it, you can do it too. I enjoy reading, long walks on the beach, and drinking a nice glass of wine at the end of the day. So that's kind of about me in a nutshell.
Perfect. And so we actually met at a party fest here in Dallas. I went to just meet some really cool business owners. I figured, what's the best place to go when I'm an entrepreneur in the event planning space? If I want to find out what are some good resources out there, companies and things like that to align with. For those of you that are new to this channel, hello, my name is Jessie. Green Eyed Ambition is really a platform where I like to talk about all of the unsexy things about running a business. I have been an entrepreneur now for 14 years, and I love to just really bring up topics that you often don't hear people talking about when it comes to entrepreneurship, because my true heart passion is for more people to have success. But sometimes them having success is by learning what is really going on inside a business so that you don't feel as if you're doing something wrong or what you're experiencing is a one person experience. In reality, we all go through it in different places and spaces. On here, I often talk about the power of networking. And that's where most of my guests, I meet them is because I'm out here meeting people. I think sometimes when we first start out business, in the beginning, it's like, oh, I can't tell no one and I got to do this by myself. And we kind of like head down and try to go through this journey by ourselves. But at some point you realize like, I need to have community to be able to grow. And just even if it's just a friendly conversation, or it might be that break down in tears and like, oh my gosh, everything feels like it's falling apart. And they can say, just relax. No, it's not. This is common. And here's how you go about navigating through it. So I would love for you to share, Kate, a little bit about your organization and how it came about.
So NAWBO, we're a national organization. We have about 50 chapters around the country. There's not one in every state, but there's about 50. We got 4 here in Texas, which is awesome. So in 1975, a bunch of women business owners got together in DC, and they started having conversations with policymakers about the way that the rules that they were making were impacting their business. And if you think back to 1975, women couldn't really own businesses the same way that we can today. I wasn't that old, but still, I was, that's crazy. So the DFW chapter of NAWBO has been around for 40 years. We celebrate our 40th birthday next year. And the chapter size has ebbed and flowed. At one point we had like 200 plus members. We're at 80 right now. Great, amazing group of women business owners. And kind of like you mentioned, Jessie, we cover so many different industries. We cover so many different backgrounds and years of being a woman business owner. We have some women who are in their second year. I'm in my 10th year. No, I'm in my 11th year. Oh, math. No, I'm not that old. But, I'm in the AV industry, which is a primarily male-dominated industry. But, we also have a lot of, marketing people. We have a lot of coaches. We have a lot, so it spans the spectrum. And what's really great about
the conversation or in those rooms to even know about how to successfully run a business because we just were not included. And I think that by having these communities and organization, what really helps is the fact that you can now lean on other people, because sometimes when
Mhm.
I hear other founders is like they'll reach out to individuals in their circle of influence and they don't always feel as if they get support and all these different things. And it's not intentional. It's because it's still a new concept. And people will, in your family and circle, it doesn't mean that they mean ill will to you, but sometimes they're like, so when are you going to get a job? Or you ask them
Right.
for advice and they don't know how to even give you that advice because they're not even in those conversations. And I would love for you to share, like, how has the community been a great space or a safe space for other entrepreneurs to just talk and female entrepreneurs to talk?
One of the things that you notice when you've been an entrepreneur for a long time is that it's lonely at the top.
Yes.
And it is even more lonely as a woman business owner at the top.
Yeah.
Because, like I mentioned earlier, not only am I a business owner and the president of NAWBO, I'm also a wife and a mother and a sister and an aunt and all of those things. And to each of these people that I interact with on a daily basis, I play a different role. I bring a different set of experiences. And my brother is very good at doing the business.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a clue when it comes to standard operating procedures and even just like marketing and things like that. Like he could do the books. It was always a scramble at the end of the year to get everything prepared for, tax time.
Yeah.
But we're a really great example of having most small business owners know how to do their business. They know how to make the thing, do their service, make their clients happy. And that's amazing. But at the end of the day, it's the back end running of the business. Even when I first started out as a business owner, I was a consultant and it was just me and my computer. So it was very straightforward. It was just me. That is an expert on running a business.
Yes.
Is a gold mine.
Yeah.
And it's the simple things that get overlooked when you are starting your business. It's writing a business plan. It's all of those things that you need to have together if you want to get financing. If you're going to even a community financial institution, you still have to have a business plan, and they're going to want to see a budget if you don't have like actual financials. It's putting together a marketing plan. Who is your target audience? It's not everybody. You don't want it to be everybody. You do no. You need to, and it's okay if you start out with a very broad idea of who your target audience in our space and saying, I need help with X. I can help you build out your board of trusted advisors by connecting you with that resource that is X. And that, at the end of the day, fills my heart with so much joy, because that is what you do as a servant leader. It's not about me. It's about building my community and connecting that community to other communities.
And I think that's so powerful. And I think sometimes what gets people with or gets in the way with people joining associations and things in the nature is they think of like the upfront cost compared to the access of the people, in which if you intentionally go to the events, if you intentionally make sure you connect with people, talk to people, and it doesn't have to be immediately going in for the jugular, like, hey, would you want to be my client? Because I've said on here a couple of times with networking events, like, you want to go in for long-term relationships. Some people may immediately hear what you say and like, oh my goodness, I need someone like you. Let's talk. And that's wonderful when that happens. However, there may be someone that can be a great connector for, and you shared really great tips. So then when someone mentions to them, hey, I'm looking for this, they're like, oh my goodness, there's this individual that I know that is a part of our association. And I think it'll be a great mix, a great connection for you. And I think when we do this effectively and efficiently, it can be an awesome opportunity for you to level up in your business, because I feel like in certain areas it's about who you know. I definitely think Texas is a who you know. Very transparent. I was like, you know what, maybe I need to go back up to DC, because people are like, oh, I have a problem. You have a solution.
We open each meeting with what I call the NAWBO business, and it's just kind of like who we are, what we do, the join us pitch. But I have started including a slide that talks about how to get the most out of your membership. Mm-hmm. You know, yes, there is a cost associated with joining our organization, and there is a cost associated with attending our luncheons, because we have to, you know, pay for stuff.
Yeah.
But it's the way to get that value, that return on investment, that, you know, bang for your buck, so to say, is you have to show up.
Yeah.
You have to be in the room. Like, if you join an organization and you don't participate, you don't engage in some way, you don't have to serve on the board immediately. You don't have to serve on a committee. You just have to show up and make those connections.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get the value out of it. You know, we try to provide, be inclusive with our programming. And by that, I mean geographically inclusive, time inclusive, and technology inclusive. So, you know, we cover the DFW Metroplex. That's 11 counties. Like, this time last week, I was in Fort Worth, which is on the other side of the world for me, to meet some new friends who showed up. We try to have our programming at different times of the day. So our October in-person was breakfast. In November, we're doing an evening event, and in December, we're doing lunch. So we realize that not everybody has the flexibility to be wherever. We've also introduced a virtual component. So yesterday we hosted our midday trust.
Yeah.
You know, that is how you make those relationships. That's how you get new business. People have to know you, people have to like you, and they have to trust that you know what you're talking about. And that is another way to show up and get engaged. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and I was really excited when you proposed this as the topic, because there's the way that we can approach community is, you know, definitely from an organization standpoint, from, you know, we're NAWBO, we're a group of women business owners. But the other way that I want us to all look at it is from like an industry perspective. You know, yesterday I sent an email to everyone in our membership who is in the marketing space, because I am looking for a marketing director, or at least a committee, to take the burden off of me, because sister ain't got time for all these shenanigans.
Yes.
Like, I want to introduce you all to each other, because you all operate in the same space, and it's community over competition. Like, there is enough work to go around, and what you might be really good at, I am not really. So having a system, it's a very, very tiny industry in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro, kind of. And helping each other out, helping each other be successful. There's more than enough work to go around. It is a lot of who you know. Yay, Texas and the good old boys club. But how do you get a foot in the door? It's who you know.
Yeah. And I like the way that you mentioned even about knowing industry. I actually was having this conversation with someone yesterday, exactly. And I feel like in certain stages of entrepreneurship, we almost feel like, oh, we can't trust people, you know, like I keep everything to myself. But eventually, like, as many years you're in, as I am, we're like, no, like, let me have a community. I need to know who are my resources, because I was even having a conversation with this with some people at the CRM that I often talk about. And one of the things that people do is that if they're not available, then they just turn down the work. And they're like, and the person's like, Jesse, do you just turn down work? I was like, no. I was like, this day and age, I will either find someone that I can put underneath my umbrella so that we can give work, or I'll make sure it goes to someone that I think is going to be a good fit. And like, never am I just saying, good luck, find it out on your own. I'm going to try to find resources. And that's where I'm at in my own journey. Is like, because sometimes what happens is that when we don't go into networking events, um, powerfully. And here's the tip I would give to anyone that's watching. This is something I always share with people when it comes to networking. Any networking event I go to, I aim to connect with at least 10 people. Does that mean that I can have powerful conversations with 10 people? No, it means I'm at least exchanging information. And then, just like what Kate and I did before this, I was like, hey, let's do a coffee and connect. Let me learn a little bit about what you do. Let me see where things make sense. Because sometimes at events, networking events, I really don't want to do a bunch of talking, but I'll do talking. It's better to, have conversations that you actually can be present to. So I always tell people, think about every networking event you go to, try to connect with at least 10 people. Because the reality is that even if you got one solid person that either is now someone in your circle of influence, or they're now a client, or it's just a great connector for you, you can potentially have 12 great connections in a 12-month period, because 10 to 1 is a ratio. But if you go to a networking event and you only talk to one person, then I'll even with this. So when we went to Party Fest, I had got a bunch of contact information. I can't even tell you the amount of people that I spoke to, either because they did have associations that were for wedding professionals and things like that. Could not get them to either reply or schedule a time for us to even do a coffee and connect. And there were some people I thought would be great resources inside of my own business. So let's just say I did my thing of talking to 10 people. The only person that I have connected with that has actually done even this virtual live is Kate.
And let's be honest about how we actually met.
Well, yes.
I pounced on you, and because the shirt you were wearing, and I was like, hey, I know that.
Yes.
And now here we are.
And I think that it speaks so much volumes. Like, sometimes what people do is they'll go to one thing and think like, oh my gosh, this didn't work, or I didn't meet anybody. You just have to do the uncomfortable, and it gets better with time. Like, I legitimately know that most people don't feel comfortable in these environments in general. So if I just go up and start talking to someone or having a conversation, they're not going to be comfortable. So when you're looking to build a community of people with using associations and going there, you can find people that, like, I love that tip about looking for people that are specifically in your industry, or even look at people that might have things that you can learn from, or just individuals you actually vibe with, because that too is helpful. Because I don't want to have a whole bunch of individuals that are that might be business owners, but I cannot vibe,
Totally. The other thing yes, I am very introverted. High functioning introvert. I'm gonna go take a nap after we finish this. But so networking is a challenge for me, even after all of these years. But I will tell you a great story. So I own an AV company. We do a lot of things. We get a lot of tickets to events. And I was at a VIP event for a wine stroll or something like that. And my dad was my date. And after the event was over, he was like, Kate, I watched you. And you could strike up a conversation with a wall. You were just like walking, bouncing from person to person, and here's my trick. I try my hardest not to ask them, like, what's your business? What do you do for a living? That's like, what would you be doing if you weren't here right now? Or, did you, always looking for vacation tips and tricks. Like, did you have any great summer vacations? What are you guys doing for the holidays? I try to not approach it with the, hi, my name is Kate. I own Kate Studios. What do you do?
Yeah.
And I feel like that helps a lot with that know, like, and trust thing. Cause I'm not, I'm not aiming for the pitch or the sale right off the
want to serve, or the people that are on my team. So if it means me doing something uncomfortable and being exhausted afterwards, I will do that any day. Like,
yeah,
like,
yeah. Days when I don't have to leave the house.
Yes.
They're like, they're my favorite.
They're the best. They're the best. And so I do have one more question for you. So for entrepreneurs who are just starting out, we've given them some tips on like how beneficial associations can be in creating a sense of community, as well as how to use networking events effectively to build the like, know, and trust factor. But what are some steps you would give to someone when it comes to selecting a community to join?
Oh, that's a good one. I think the first thing to do is to take a look at the things that are important to you in your life. So for me, I didn't actually understand the power of advocacy until two things happened. The first one was COVID. Yeah. And the state of Texas did an amazing job putting together grants and set-asides for the hospitality industry, which is technically like where AV tends to fall. Yeah. But there was no money at all for what my company does. We don't own venues. We don't hire talent. We turn fields into festivals. Like we build the venue from scratch outside, or we bring in the AV equipment into the venue. Mm-hmm. So advocating for my particular piece of the industry, that's like my next hat after I get done serving as president of NAWBO, is to lean into my industry. Yeah. That is how my involvement with NAWBO became so important to me. Mm-hmm. And it's not like politics are not important to everyone. They should be, because they impact your ability to do business, your ability to make money. Yeah. So I think it's just really important to look at the mission of the organization and what you're trying to get out of it. You know, ultimately it comes down to, do you want a community, or do you just want leads? Or do you just want, you know, I don't know, just to pay your money and not show up? Yeah. Which is really unfortunate, because yes, I want your money, but I want to get to know you and to know how I can engage with you. Yeah. We will probably never do business together, because most of our membership is not my target market. You might know someone who is my target customer, but I am not in NAWBO to get business. Yeah.
I love that. Great tips. Great tips. So for anyone that wants to connect with you or learn more about your chapter, what would be the best way for them to connect with you?
NAWBODFW.org is our website. I encourage you to find us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We do a lot of resharing of events that anyone can attend on our LinkedIn story. Sorry, not LinkedIn, Instagram stories. It's really important to me that the people who see us out on the social medias understand that there's always something going on. There is always an educational opportunity. It might be one of our members. It might be another NAWBO.
Definitely, truly appreciate you for being a yes. And I hope that everyone